The Reds today have made a big splash yet again. This time, Sonny Gray being shipped off to the Minnesota Twins in exchange for Minnesota Twins 2021 first round draft pick, the 18-year-old hurler, Chase Petty. Pretty shocking news here, really. Now, we heard Tyler Mahle rumors about him being traded. I was honestly just thought it was, like we've heard in years past with Sonny Gray. That was just kind of rumors swirling around. Nothing was going to come to fruition. This is a Reds team that had a 1-2-3 solid punch in the rotation, and they still had bats that made them feel like a very competitive team going into this season that could still contend for a playoff spot at the very least, especially with an expanded playoff format. Instead, you see them trade away one of their cogs of this rotation in Sonny Gray for a guy who you're looking at in the future. Now, really looking at the trade in general, I think if you're the Reds, or if you're a fan of the Reds, you want to see Sonny Gray come back if you're going to get a prospect back, a prospect that is ready this year, ready next year kind of guy, or somebody, maybe a bat that could help this offense out, or somebody in a bullpen, something that could help this team right now, because it really felt like a Reds team that was in a position to be a contender again. As Reds fans, we've seen these guys go in, these 4, 5, 6 year spells of rebuilding and then 2-3 years of building and tearing it back down. It feels like we're playing the rebuild game again, which it's a tough pill to swallow. Now, that's the pessimistic negative side of things. Let's try to look at this from a positive, Reds still trying to be a contender standpoint this year. You still have Lodolo, you still have Green, two studs. How long will it take for both these guys to play? Won't be this year, won't be next year. I mean, you're opening up a roster spot for both of those guys. You consider, if we get rid of Gray now, maybe his trade value is higher now than it'll be at the end of the year. We got a chance to go ahead and scoop up a guy like Chase Petty now, while his trade value is still relatively high, without taking that chance of it going down at the end of the season, or halfway through the season at the trade deadline, we should say here, and get something in return that can potentially make an impact on this team down the road. Meanwhile, we already have his replacement on hand. Or you say, hey, Sonny Gray's cap's off the table, his salary's off the table. How hard would it be for the Reds to go out for agency and find another pitcher capable of giving a 3.5, 4 ERA on the season, or a guy that slides into that 2-3 role in this rotation for said price or a little bit more? Reds go that route. You can continue to say, hey, you know what? This team could contend for a playoff spot this year. They could without Sonny Gray. We'll see. Can't speculate too much. But at that point, it's like, hey, maybe this wasn't that bad of a deal. I think it's important you give these Reds time to really, or the organization time to really put their plan together here. I'd really like to see them go out there and still pick up another pitcher. I'd really like to see them go get a bullpen guy. What I really don't want to see is the Reds to have this team that they have and to try to go into this intermittent rebuilding phase again for a couple years, when I think they have the pieces right now to contend for a playoff spot. That is the last thing I want to see done with these Reds. Sonny Gray is going to go out and do all right for the Twins, though. I'll tell you what, end of the day, we're really happy to see what he did with this Reds team. He pitched well. He really did. At this point, it's all in the past. You got to hope Chase Petty turns out, and you got to hope the Reds can find a way to put together a formidable 5-man rotation this season that continues to make them a contender. And again, maybe this opens up a little salary. I don't think they're going to use that money on Castellanos, but maybe they can go a different direction and spend money elsewhere. I think that's a main focal point as a Reds fan. I still want to see this team be aggressive in free agency to try to add a couple pieces. They don't need to be huge names, but they need to be pieces that can complement this team and improve this team going into the season. I still think that's important. It's just tough seeing a guy like Sonny Gray go. We'll see. Maybe the trade turns out to be fantastic. Maybe Sonny Gray wins the Cy Young this year. We'll see. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.